Good morning, this is Brian Whitten and ET Art. How are you? I have just got this on the screen at the moment. I know you're getting a bit of banding, but it's actually on the film that I took in the first instance, not now. At least I'm hoping I haven't got as much banding now. I'm getting that part of it a little better. The reason I put this on the screen is just to, I'll insert the little orange rock. This was the rock that we did, was the first of the rocks of the last video, and that was 4 rocks part 2. One of the films today is off this rock here, which was one of last week's rocks. The rock you're looking at now is a little orange one, as this is the part of the rock that I said to you there was a reptilian there, or the shape of a reptilian. Before I go on, I will say that if you are a young child, 8, 9 or 10 or whatever, would you please go and get your mum and dad to watch this first, please, and then come back. Okay, so really all I did was put this in this film and put it in and just let it play, and I thought, well, I'll run the light over that portion of the rock that had, at that point, I said to you, it had a reptilian, features of a reptilian. I saw it when I install it as a video like this with the light running on it. It would display exactly that. It actually does display another face outside of a reptilian, as long as other things as well, so I actually might put this rock under myself, because there are some things that it comes up with that are really quite fascinating about this area here. I know that's not real clear for you, and I know I've got the glare in the middle of the screen, but I'm going to redo this one. But basically I only just wanted to put this was a little orange rock, and just to let you know that I did say that it had, in my opinion, would show and reveal a reptilian. So I don't think we could argue the case there. I think we've already gone past one part where it's already shown you very clearly that that's what it is. And here, if you watch this, you'll also get it switch into another face here as well, like another being. I have seen these ones as well. They've got the, more closer to the grey alien type appearance. I'll stop it when I get close to where the light is. And so there's a couple of different faces even in that one spot. We went from this to another location with a little black mark and the face, a human face. There is a facial feature right there. Yeah, it's not as good, but there is a mouth here, nose here, and his eyes here, so it's a different sort of person even than a reptilian. I'm going to do this video a little bit differently today. I will install these 4 pictures, right, are the 4 rocks that this video is about. This is the first rock, which is this is magnificent. This first rock here, and some of the imagery I got off what appears to be a crack, is making me want to put that rock back under, and I'll put these under like early in the morning at 3 o'clock. Some of the visions and the imagery was unbelievable. I apologise for the crosshatch here and the waviness a bit, but that's just the way it is at the moment. I've getting rid of that gradually. You're seeing most of that banding on this is actually on the film that I've taken, not this one. It's actually, I got better as I got through this, but I just wanted to show you that that portion of the rock did have an actual fact a reptilian, as we've seen, and would stop there, and only stopped at that point there for a little while. But I see that other face there. To me that looks like another type of being. The rocks themselves seem to have like a, one rock will have a theme. It'll be the images you're getting off it, like this one, seem to be different peoples. Now whether they are peoples that have walked the planet at some point, whether they're from somewhere else, whether they're the people that we will meet when all this happens, if in actual fact, as I've said, is correct, that Atlantis needs to be installed. We have a problem with the planet if that's the case. Well, that's the situation is that these people may be the very people we're going to see when they get here to do such things. I don't know whether they show themselves, I really do not know. There's just, like I said, it's an amazing thing to have come this far looking at rocks, but I'll put up one of these other videos now. Before we move away from the subject matter that we've discussed already, I just wanted to show you something, and this is probably a good way to do it. I've got this is a captured video, right? So in other words, this is one that I captured in the process of making the video. So my copy here, although you're still seeing it recorded on the TV, is in actual fact the original copy. What I do sometimes, because the movement of my light on my hand isn't as slow and as quick, you know, sometimes you're better off actually doing it this way. Make it a video, and that way what you can do is pause it, and I'll show you what you can do when you've got a program like this. Then you can just drag the movie, you know, the movie forward backward motion until you can stop the light at exactly the most, you know, point. And this is what I'm saying, it's sometimes easier to do it that way than just pressing play, because sometimes that it'll flash past. If I'll give you an indication of what I mean, where we just were. If I let this play through, you might play through and it'd go flash like that, and it's gone. And you don't even see the image again unless you're watching, and that's what I mean. Sometimes your light, like that, the flash of light could be at an angle where it means something, whereas if it's not held there long enough, you do not see the creature, right? So if you're not there at that point long enough, where you see the creature start to come out, or his facial features, that's where you have a problem. So I'm just suggesting that is an idea where you can do that as well, and then see if I move the mouse up here, okay, and I get rid of my little grey mark, and if I then say, now I know you're getting glare here, you can imagine what I'm seeing. I'm recording my TV. Can you imagine what I'm seeing at night? Seriously? It is absolutely spectacular to the absolute nth degree, and you've just seen the light, just stop that there, and that does turn into, like I said, another creature at some other point. But I just wanted to show you how to do that. As you see, you're even getting the reflection down here of my hand and me standing here. So, but I will install this, the full video that has this, the one we've just looked at, and the next one I'm going to go to at the end of the video. So you'll have the full copy of this, just so you can check for yourself, because it really is amazing, isn't it? I'm looking at the TV camera here, well, you know, the little display on my my digital camera, and that just looks, well, you know, we might be up to meet quite a lot of people that look far different than us. I'm not so sure that we meet them, or whether or not they're saying to us over the millions of years that they've maintained the planet, there's been more than just people like us that we're here, you know, and that they've helped many other peoples that have evolved in the many millions of years. Because I'll be honest with you, now I'm beginning to think it may be more like in excess of 15 million years since the star left. I'm not 100% sure of that, so, you know, we'll move on to the next video. Now this is an image off the rock. I'm going to start this video off, and this image I insert now is the rock of which this imagery comes from. And it was one that I was intending to put in last week, and like I said, an hour and a half long video is way too long. I've turned the volume down on this one, and you can see my stick waving in, and I basically am making a point that this is like a human eye, like this, and the eye's here and it's looking this way. And I started to put this in, it was going to be in last week's video, and then in the end I decided I won't do that, I'll put it in this one because it was getting too long. Not to mention what I was seeing on this, I actually looked at it a few times, and sometimes, like I said, if I'm over here moving the light here when I'm doing this, I don't see parts of an image here, and sometimes you'll see an image where you do not see, it's not just a whole page like this. Part you might be wanting to look at is that big, or this big in this corner, and over here it's changing. In this instance, what we're seeing is a story with this being a dividing line that being a little story of it, and there being another story being told here as this light moves around. And honestly, when I become aware of what was this part of this video was doing, I'm videotaping this again, so you are actually now getting it even worse again. What I was seeing with my own eyes on the TV was way better than you are seeing here, and you are seeing this taped. This was actually getting recorded with the video camera. I didn't actually tape this as I did it with the software. I don't know why, but I just unfortunately didn't. And the fact whether I could get back here to this point on that rock, it's a very good question. So what I wanted to explain to you as we're going along, I start talking about these crystals here changing, like when you get the light change on them, it was changing what was inside the crystal as well. And it seemed like it was logic. There is, when you watch this video, if there was any thought at all that the images you're seeing aren't logically placed, they will just be dispelled immediately after you having watched this video. What you're actually seeing in this here is you're actually seeing a bloke's head in front of monitors and screens, and it changes from being a bloke. You're seeing in here trees. This is the light in behind the trees here. See the light flashing off and on in here. So when I insert it, you can go back and have a look at this, and that's what you're seeing. So you're seeing a UFO or landed in behind the trees and the light glowing out, which is what happens. Here you're seeing the view from the guy inside the UFO looking out of the windows. In some instances it's looking out of the window, and there's aliens here around a control panel looking out, like say you're getting two views, the view of them inside the UFO behind the trees. But then at another point in time, as pathetically stupid as it sounds, I will show you, I will go to it, that you will see that the sort of things that happen. Now I'll find the spot on the video where that happens. Now this is the second video that I took that night. You can see the eye there a little bit more clearer. Excuse my attire, I was actually going to go outside and do some work, and then I thought, well, I've got the light off the room now, I'll just have a look. I wanted to get it without the banding, because see, this is where I worked out how to take the video without the banding, so it's at least a little bit better for you to see what I was doing. But like I said, when this moves around here, I will now jump to the places where you start to see the imagery. Here is one where you start to get, I start to see these squares come out here, and I start to really look at what I'm seeing. Honestly, I videotaped all this before I even was aware of what it was I was seeing. Okay, now I'll get to this point. Like I said, if I get to the points where I can say to you, well, look at this, look at that, you can look at the final, you know, here, just there. If I say there, right, stop there, you can see this guy's head in front of a screen, and you can see his ears sticking out both sides here, right, so that's a guy in front of a screen. So at one point you get the security side of things, and at other times it's, I'll just go along here and I'll just have a look to see. This is an interesting part as well, because I then move the light, and what you do see is you see this part here. Well, actually I think it turns into an alien's eye, you know, like an eyeball of a grey. If you look at this, I move it around. It's very, very prominent, this. I'll take a few still photos of this to insert in here as well, you know, around these areas where, you know, so you can see the rock without any manipulation of light at all. But yeah, it comes into like an eyeball here, like that's what it does to me anyway. And you know, I mean, there's many things you can see. Even on the things that I can see other things if I look at them another way. I'll just move along here a little. We'll get past that bit, because that's where his eye is a little bit more prominent. And if I go along here, I will find you the spot where it's a security camera. Now that part is the part where I believe it changes there to be, I get the light to where it's a control room. I move it from that point where that guy's sitting in front of this monitor, alright, and then I move it to the other side, and it actually turns into a security camera watching. I'll get it right here for you. That's the part there where I believe you're getting another control room, sort of like inside the UFO there. Right there is inside the UFO control room here with the windows open, and that's a elongated skull here, and there's another one there. There's actually two of them. One there with his eye there looking this way, and there's another one there right in front of the control room. And that then changes. I know it's a little bit hard to make out that one for you, and it's a bit weird, but there will be no doubt with this next one. I'll show you now. It goes from that to being, you can still see him sitting here, right? So there's still two aliens there, and you can see here the more of the controls things in here as well. Then it goes from there to this, and you won't believe it. This is indisputable. It goes to here, and I'll press play, and I want you to watch. There's two things happening here. You're seeing in an area down here a part of a space station that's under video surveillance, and then on the screen here you're seeing the output of the camera that's monitoring that. So watch what happens at that location of the screen. I know it sounds unbelievable, but watch what happens here. I'll point the screen out, so excuse my stick. Alright, this is the landing zone. This is the monitor. See these little lights flashing here in a line? Look, you watch the timing here between that line of dots and there. Look at it. And then I move the light so it flashes across the area here, and you see it light up down here, and it lights up on the screen at the same time. There you can see the guy's head looking at the monitors. He's just here, see? See how that lit up down here in the landing zone? It lit up on the screen. Then I dim the light again, and you see this light sequence start off again on the bottom of the screen, and here again. You watch it. As I dim the light away again, it does the same thing. Isn't that amazing? Look. You wouldn't read about it, would you? Look at that. That's exactly what you're seeing, is a monitor off a security camera monitoring that bit there. It is absolutely amazing. When I realised what I was actually seeing, I was so taken back, honestly, to go from that to where you've got these other two blokes sitting here. You can see them. It's not as real clear, that one, I'll admit. That isn't as clear as this, but this is extremely obvious what you're seeing here. You can see it come out here. There's a square there. The lights down here on the landing zone, which is where the UFOs are going to come in and land, start to twinkle across in here. They do the same across the security screen, and then it lights up and you see this guy's head right in front of the screens. Just here in a minute, I'll light it up again. Look at that. You wouldn't think that in a million years you would find that on a rock. And this is, like I said, I'm thinking this is holographic projection out of those little crystals somehow. You've got to get the light in exactly the right spot, and that's the sort of things that you will see. Isn't that amazing? Now I'll show you one other thing that's even more amazing. And you think, how can you get more amazing than that? I know, honestly, at that point when you just stop that and the light goes out down here, you get the reflection in the guy's face in the TV, and it's not a human face, but that's actually what you're seeing there. The light's gone out down here now. See how that's not on the thing? And now what's happened here is you've only got the lights down the side, and you're seeing the reflection of his face in the screen there, because it's a black screen. Quite amazing, just like you've seen mine when it goes off. You can see background at the back of the house there a bit better. Now I've just moved you in a bit closer now, right? Now I know it's a bit glary in the house at the moment, but I am inserting these as good as I've got them at this point at the end, okay? And I'll put a bit of music with them, and that's all I'll be there. I'll leave both these videos in there full, except I'll edit out the black bits, obviously, where there's nothing to see. But now I'm zoomed in a bit closer here now, and you can see, like I said, you'll see the the little dots come up on the lines there, and you'll be able to see that a lot better. And I know I mean I can see my reflection here like this, and I wasn't worried about that today because I was still putting these in at the end, and I thought, well, this was the best way to do it. I could then sit here in daylight instead of 3 or 4 in the morning. I had to be honest, I did get up early to do this, but I just thought, no, I'll wait. Look at it, isn't that amazing? And you can see his head in the control room, and the way that is just so unbelievably spectacular, isn't it? Do you really realise what you're actually seeing? That is actually on a rock. And like I said, look, this is the rock that it's off. So listen, I don't want to drag this video on too long because I know at the end we're going to, you know, look at some things that are even more spectacular than this. There's a couple of locations here where at the end of the video you might see the odd alien's face sticking out there as well. But isn't that, like I said, I just found that absolutely astounding. I couldn't believe it when I was watching it and realised what I was actually seeing. It absolutely blew me away. I could not believe what I was seeing. Now this one here, this one comes in like the movie. You know when they come up to that movie and you come up, there's the alien's head in the front of that craft now. Okay, that's looking the other way, and this actually changes here. Do you remember the movie Independence Day when they come up to the UFO or the big mothership and the guy's looking out at them? This one here, I'm not kidding, that's a grey there, but it changes, and it changes into the guy that's in the movie. The guy's head in that movie's got like a, it looks like him. When at the very point in time on this rock, when I get to that point, it looks exactly the same again. Now I'll just kick this video off. This is a chip on a rock, and I'll insert a picture of the rock now. And as much as the last video we just looked at may have sat you back in a chair and made you realise things we are taught maybe far different than reality. This one came up on a night. This is actually still under the microscope light here. I'll start the video going, and like I said, I'll insert this one as well at the end of the video, so stay for that. And if you're interested in this sort of thing, I made a comment some time back in one of my videos about the pyramid not actually having any casing stones on it, and it did not. There's a capping stone there. There's the other side of the pyramid. The casing stones were never all the way down the sides. It was only a side of where, you know, the tidal waves were. That's what that's for. That's why, and I've said that, it's obvious when you go look at it that it's very, the pyramid from about there down is very disturbed, whereas from there up to where the casing stones are, it's only on the top half. That this part in here is all, you know, and you can see quite clearly that's pyramid. That's exactly what it is. Now I'll start moving the light around here, and honestly when I did this at night time, this once again you are seeing imagery that I just sat here. This was so crystal clear, and on my big screen TV at the time was amazing. You can start to see where the tidal waves are coming through here, the side of the pyramid here. That's what that's representing in there, and some of the imagery that comes through in this as well is also very amazing. You'll note the shape of this here, right? That big round shape. Towards the end of the video, when it comes towards the end of the light, where I vary the light a bit more, it actually changes into the elongated skull alien faces again there as well, so, or the whole head. Now this is where I've now gone on to just moving the light around in the very same area so you can see what's coming out. This is also one that I will go through my videos, okay, and just make sure to see if I've actually photographed this and got the original version, because this is, once again, this is only just a videotape off there. The trouble is when I go and get them and look for them and insert them, see, I'm not kidding, when I saw this, you can imagine that coming out from just changing the light angle. Look at it. I was just sitting there going, you've got to be kidding, you know. And some of the visionary, or the visions I've seen off these rocks, and what they've done, there's one part here, this looks like the space station up here as well. It's something in the air. You know, there's some very, very unusual scenes come out of this rock, and when I insert them in a high quality mode, like in the high definition mode, without doing this, you miss out a bit. And the reason you miss out is because when I insert them, for some reason or other, it reduces the size back to being not 16.9 ratio and squashes it up when I install them in a video, and I don't know why. I haven't been able to work out why that does that. Doesn't do it with any other videos, only the ones that I capture off the camera. So, and to play them, I can put them on and play them and record them like this, because I can go into you can see this, what I'm saying here. This is where you get towards the end here. Some of the scenery, honestly, like that's like the moon. Look, and then down here, seeing the pyramids start coming in down here a little bit, not very much though, but like I said, there's some of the colours that come out in this and the scenery. I'll just say one thing. I've tried, and I have said that I've tried to communicate with people in, in a common sense, mature, adult manner in the year that is almost 2020. I've said this before. It looks like the only way I'm going to be able to bring this to people is to go out as a busker and put this on the back of a trailer and go around our town. That's how pathetic. When I see this, is why I'm saying to you, the skills in the manufacture of this, and the people that care enough for humans to put it here in the first place, and I met with what I met with out of the human race on the planet I live on. I just sit here and I'm flabbergasted at how pathetically stupid it all is. If this is here and it's been hidden, that's it, it's been hidden. And the problem is they can't afford to come out, so now I'm forced to put this and me and my rocks on the back of a trailer and go and busk, because I know I won't even go out through any media outlets. I can't get through the TV, I can't get through the radio. They've spent hundreds of years telling us a whole load of hogwash. That's why I'm not going to get anywhere with it. I get no help from anybody, yet the story is here and told with such clarity and such, honestly, so much care for mankind. It is bewildering. The stupidity is bewildering. I try not to be that way, but I work in a field that I've worked in as an IT expert, one way or another, or a computer engineer. We were fixing electromechanical gear, or very complicated stuff. Look, and I tell you now that if I use the same understanding in my fields that I have seen people in geology, archaeology, people to turn their back on the truth in mass so that people can go and push some load of rubbish down our throats. I just don't understand that, because if I carried that same concept of understanding in my own fields, you would all be dead, or we would be living in the caves. Because, oh no, I won't fix that way, I'll fix it this way, so it doesn't work. That's a better idea. I'll go in, I've got a 200 user ANZ bank computer system. Oh no, I won't fix it that way, I'll fix it this way. I'll fix it the wrong way. What the hell? To me, like I said, it is mass stupidity. This is where you get this alien's head out really good here, is really start to see him as a elongated skull here, and his face is very much here. Okay, I'll leave those, reinsert them at the end. I will insert some nice still pictures, because I'm going to put both those rocks, and I will insert a couple of nice pictures off them for both those things, okay, if I can get them off for you, and I'll insert them for you at the end in the middle of the videos where maybe it goes black for a little bit too long. I might insert a picture or something there. That you see here the same thing. You start to see a control panel light up along here as well, and you see the head of an alien looking out windows again, just here. Okay, it is just at the end of the video. It's better towards the end of it, but I believe that that's what we're seeing in this portion. of that rock as well when I move the light. I can tell you now, the night I sat there at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you see this man's head here come out at you. Oh mate, I tell you, some nights I just sit here and I have been absolutely astounded. The imagery that you can imagine what I'm seeing firsthand. It is spectacular beyond belief. And like I said, if I have to busk, I will. I would prefer the whole situation be dealt with in a common sense, adult manner. It would seem to be that that's an impossibility, and I'm going to have to get a high definition widescreen TV, a trailer, generator, most of which I already have, and I'm going to go and get a busking license. I'm going to busk this if I basically, the people in my country have painted themselves into a corner where they have to deny it's there. They have to deny that all of this is on these rocks. That is where they've painted themselves into the position. How do you come out of a position where you've painted yourself into denying that this sort of thing, and who built the pyramids and why they were there? We all know why they're there now. They're there because our planet does not rotate around the sun naturally, and these people make sure it rotates around. They give us a lesson on planetary science. That's why all these things are here. They're telling us why they have to do what they've got to do. There seems to be a deal that's been struck at some point or another, you know. You can see, like I said, you'll see lots of images come out as I move the light here slowly. Towards the end here is where I get to see the pyramid again, without the casing stones, the ET man again. And the more I moved, and then this thing turned into, like it was, I said to you about printing things from space. Did I not say that? I said they print the walls, they print the megaliths, they transfer the matter via laser. You know, they're very, very smart people. Been doing this for millions of years, I would expect. These images, or at least the things that created them, the two files that you've seen, get to where you can go and, you know, you'll get the full version, okay? And I'll just put some music on after it, and so if you want to stay to the end of the video, you can. the end of this series of videos now, and I was wondering how how best to finish them off, and I thought, well, I'll come down here by the river and show you where I come and put my kayak in at times, and do a little bit of fishing here down here to basically, well, discuss what we've learnt, and it's a lot. If we consider, that 7 months ago I too was sitting here wondering what the pyramids were here for, and now I know why they're here, as well as many of the megaliths that are scattered across the Earth's surface. They are here to tell us about our planet. We know now that our planet, since our other star left, has given us a situation where our planet has been managed for a very, very long time. It would appear that also his maintenance of our planet came with conditions. To whom the conditions applied, I really do not know. I would imagine it'd be all of us. There are many different types of creatures depicted on the rocks, they are not just humans. So therefore I would expect, whether or not there be other beings on this planet that are not human, I have never met any that weren't, to the best of my knowledge. I've met some that are a bit peculiar. I'm making a videotape talking about aliens under a bridge in Wingham, so I may very well fit into that criteria. I've had to laugh a lot at what's happened because of the mysteries that I've had solved by looking at rock. I've had the history told me of my country and how it was created, the shape of it and the shape of Australia, separated from the Asian continent only, within the last 20,000 years. That's what they are telling us. Within 20,000 years ago, the landmass was joined and it was separated by two separate incidents. One created the Gulf of Carpentaria and the landmass of New Guinea, most of it, and the other four separated what was left. And that's what I found out from looking at rocks. I'll wrap this video up now, and I'll suggest that, I've learned a lot. It is mostly what would appear to be just secrets hidden and history hidden from mankind, to the benefit, no doubt, to few, and to the detriment of the rest of us. So I move on now and ponder what will happen in my retirement. I would expect it's going to be far different than I expected. That's for certain. My first 6 years here has been somewhat unbelievable. Look, I'll say goodbye. This is Brian Whitten and ETR. Thanks very much. Bye.